think we're live. Some sound is going to blur out of my speaker here shortly as soon as YouTube catches up. But this is Speed of Sound with Meny Karen. And we're going to talk about something. And naturalism, probably. Speed of Sound. Oh, here we go. It's blaring. There you go. Okay. So we're going to talk about something. And there's not just... does anybody give you shit about the Meny Karens thing? Like if you go to Walmart and you run into Karen, but you're like Meny Karens, like you don't know the meme.
it's
the Karen's meme.
Okay, Karen with a rej.
Oh, okay.
With a rej, actually. Karen,
Meny Karen. You're with Meny Karen.
See, you can't do it. You can't do a rej.
I can't do that. I can barely do the letters we have. I can't make any up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut this off.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I lose focus when I'm. Let's see. So
I wanted to start by addressing a few of the things from the Leophilius versus what's his face, Lunar Bukkake guy. Their debate.
Free.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that guy.
So the esteemed scientist, Nephilim Free.
The brilliant.
So I wanted to address some of his arguments, not from like a scientific standpoint, but just from a logical standpoint. And just look at how silly they are. And for instance, he shows us how cells have this amazing error correction system. And he says, look at that. That is brilliant. Without that error correction system, we would have so many errors in copying DNA. Now, stop. This system was supposedly built by the most intelligent, most accomplished being in the universe. And it has to have error correction.
Right. Did you freeze on me already? I'm not sure what to do with the white space in between Meny freezing on me.
Even if you want to say, oh no, fallen creation, so there are errors, well then you still don't need an error correcting system. You just built errors that create themselves, coded into the program, and you're done. Why the hell would you need an error correcting system? That does not make any sense if this ingenious coder made it. That only makes sense either it evolved or he's a really bad coder. What do you think?
Yeah, but they will come back and explain that with the fall. Basically, they'll tell you that.
But the fall does not require an error correcting system.
Right.
The fall only requires that the code break.
Well, God knew the fall was coming, so he put in the error correcting system for when the fall came, so that they wouldn't fall all at once.
Just built the code to create the exact amount of errors you want in the exact right time. And you can still have a fall? Why build a code that breaks more than what you actually want and then build another system to keep that from happening?
Right.
It makes less than 0 sense. Nobody would do that. That is like adding another system that is completely unnecessary if you are the perfect coder.
Yep.
You could do whatever you like, right? You could write the DNA to break down as you needed to kill us when you needed to mutate us when you needed to, right? So why the error correction system? It makes 0 sense.
I agree.
Or he's a really bad coder. So if Neff wants to say, yeah, my God is a very, very imperfect designer, well, I can't argue with that. But I doubt that's what he wants to claim. So the error correction system does not make sense. It is illogical to have it.
Right.
And you don't need to know how the error correction system works or when it evolved or anything. You don't have to read a single study to figure out that it simply does not make sense. So that's one of his arguments that is really, really, I'm sorry, plain dumb.
Yep.
Another one is he gives us these examples like the insect he likes to show. I don't know even what insect that is, which has these perfectly designed legs, right? And he shows them and he says, look, exquisite design. So basically he's telling us that this brilliant engineer invented the perfect leg. And then he said, oh my God. Well, he didn't say, oh my God. He says, look, I have the perfect leg. I'm only going to give it to one creature in the whole of creation, and the rest are getting the bad legs. What? How does that make sense? What designer out there would say, I have a really, really good design, but I'm not going to use it. I'm only going to use it once. That's beyond stupid. Also, exquisitely designed for what? This is where the fitness definition comes in. But even if you've never heard the fitness definition by evolution, designed for jumping straight ahead, according to Neff. Well, what about swimming? Is it good for swimming? Oh no, it's not. So how is it the perfect design? How is it exquisitely designed? It is designed, it is not designed, but let's assume it's designed. Well, it's designed for such a limited purpose. It can only achieve this one thing. So either it's the best design and he only gave it to one creature, which makes no sense because no designer does that, or it's a really, really bad design for any purpose other than jumping straight ahead, which is foolish because then this insect would have bad legs in any other context. So again, giving very specific examples of design does not make sense. And we all know that you can also find examples of like really, really silly stuff that goes on out there, which again makes no sense. But even if you don't know any other examples, and the eye is one of the best examples we have of a really, really shitty piece of biological hardware. But again, this specific example thing is silly. It's just plain silly. Nobody does that. Are we in agreement so far?
Yes, we are.
Okay, now can you pull up the writing thing you do?
I got the writing thing. I did. I do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So let's check something. Write printf.
Whoops. Something went horribly
Yeah,
wrong.
I think you should make it a bit smaller.
A bit smaller. I'll try that. We'll see if this thing crashes on me. Okay. Print.
That's right. Printf, and then in quotes, hello world. We're cheating. That's not how you write it, but let's assume for a moment that it is.
Well, kind of is.
Yeah, sort of. You need main and stuff, but never mind.
Well, yeah, let's not get foolish. Okay.
Okay, so you're a coder. What would this program do?
Print hello world, and that's it.
Okay, so below that, Let's write this. 4. No, for the word,
Oh,
not
4.
the number.
Sorry.
Yeah, the word 4.
Programmers should be specific. But I don't know how. Okay, 4.
Okay, I equals 0. I plus plus.
I plus plus.
I is smaller than 1, less than 1.
Actually, we probably will want. Okay, but go ahead. We're not going to pick on the
Okay,
syntax.
below that, write printf hello world.
We'll do a little Python here.
It's a for loop in many programming languages.
Or
So tell me,
what the hell did I?
now, can you do like some kind of line between our two little programs? Between
What's
the first program and the second one?
I'm trying to spell world. I just woke up. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, try pronouncing world when you're not an American or British.
Right.
Just try to be an Israeli and pronounce world. It's impossible.
Okay.
They all say world.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we don't have this thing where you can go and say
I is smaller than 10. Did you say 1 or did you say I is smaller than 10? Oh, I lost you, Manny. We lost Manny for a little while. Usually disappears for about a minute. Anyway. What happens if I do that? Dead airspace, guys. Look out for more than our talk. Oh, I saw that. Oh, more from your talk with PZ, Brainbug?
there, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Hang on a second. I was just addressing Brainbug. I just watched the first part of your talk with PZ Meyer, and he's making me. After this, I'm going out in the woods, and I'm going to go and try to collect a tremendous amount of bugs. Oh my God! What decline? Damn it! What is going on? My phone. Anyway, so I'm going to go out and dig up, or basically get a whole bunch of leaves, because I haven't seen a whole lot of spiders this year, and he was talking about spiders. So I don't know if you watched Brainbug. I saw your download on Mama Atheist. Brainbug and PZ Myers and Mama Atheist talked. What's that?
I saw him on Godless Granny. So
Was it Godless Granny? I thought it was Mama Atheist.
Godless Granny had a video with him in it a few days ago.
Oh, really?
About homeschooling by the wonderful people in Answers in Genesis.
Oh,
May
yes.
they drop dead.
Yeah, Godless Granny and Brainbug. I saw that too. The homeschooling, which really pisses me off. But anyway, okay, so we have a little program here.
So could you do like a separating line between the first printf and the 4 so that we can tell that these are two separate things? So we don't get confused?
I can
just make a... Exactly, thank you. Now, you're a coder, again, as we said before. Can you tell me what the second program does?
It's going to printf 10 times.
Actually, we said smaller than 1. Why did you make it smaller than 10? Make it smaller than 1.
Oh my God.
Less than 1, not less than 10.
God, this programming interview?
Okay, so tell me, the second program, what does it do?
It's not going to do anything.
Why not? It's going to print hello world 1 time.
It'll do 1 time, smaller than 1. Oh, okay, yes. Yeah, it'll print,
Right?
hello world 1 time, yes.
Okay, so the first program and the second program do the exact same thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, which one is more complex?
Which one is more complex? I would say the second one.
So it must be the better program, right?
No.
What do you mean, no?
Yeah.
Complexity is the hallmark of design, isn't it?
No.
Is it? Whoa. Are you saying that if I can write a program that does the exact same thing with 2 lines of code, that's worse than using 1 line?
Right.
Oh, but I thought complexity. Oh, so a good coder keeps it simple, is
Yes.
what you're saying.
Yep.
Right. So, anyone out there, check out any coding guide you want for beginners in any language you want. And one of the first rules you will see is keep it simple. Code always has to be simple, never complex.
Right.
If it's complex, it's bad code. You only go as complex as you really, really have to. And we are told that the fact that our DNA is so extremely complex is the hallmark of design. No, it's not. It is most certainly not a hallmark.
There are a great.
Yeah, go ahead.
There are a lot of programs that would say, okay, like A equals true, okay, and then it would say if A, then do B, and then it would say if B, then do not C, and so that's a not, and then it would say if C, turn this gene on, so turn on G1, okay. That is a biochemical pathway. That's what they look like. Why not just say, turn gene on? Why not just this instead of this? This is what biochemical pathways look like. And that's one of the...
Because again, the perfect coder wrote it.
Yeah.
And the perfect coder is so much better than every living coder that we've ever met, that he is the only coder who knows that you have to do everything as complicated as you can possibly do it in order for it to count as intelligent.
Right.
Now, if people don't get our programming examples, think of anything you want. Think of a paperweight. And think that someone would actually try and convince you that a piece of rock as a paperweight is a very, very bad idea because it's simple. You need to make it complex. It has to have wheels and gears and levers and buttons in order to be a good paperweight. Does that make any sense?
Right.
No, it does not. Complexity is maybe the hallmark of bad design, or alternatively, it's what you get when you are constrained, when you don't have a choice and you have to go complex. So either their designer is a bad designer, or he's most certainly not omnipotent in any way, because he was very, very constrained and had to build a complex system, or there's no designer behind it. And personally, I tend towards option number 3. Again, barring the idea that there's a designer behind everything. I'm not trying to say that there is or isn't a God. That's not the direction I'm going. I'm just trying to show that what they are trying to describe, what Nephilim and people like Maddox are trying to describe, is pure, sheer idiocy. Yeah. Another thing we've mentioned when we talked with Erica by the way, if you do want to go even a tiny bit into biology, you will see that the cell is not clean, it's not beautiful, it's a messy, ugly system. It runs on probability. Everything that happens in a cell, when you're told, like, there's some sort of biochemical reaction there.
Right.
Yes, that doesn't mean that the cell produced one molecule of this kind and one of that kind, and they came together and everything happened. No, what it means is the cell created a gazillion molecules of one kind, a gazillion of the other kind. They all shot together into the cell, and hopefully some of them will actually react with each other. That's how it really works.
This is my favorite. The mTOR signaling pathway has a lot to do with why occasionally you will get cancer because something breaks. One of these little cogs breaks, and it has to do, and you can't see it very well, but there are chains here where basically one thing turns on another thing, turns off another thing, turns on another thing, and then like these chains, I don't know if you can see them at the top. Oh my God, it just disappeared. Okay, so coming from there are all sorts of redundant steps in this pathway, and these steps, every one of these steps can break, and every one of these steps can cause cancer or death. Most of the time it doesn't. It's amazing, but you will be able to break these things billions and trillions and quadrillions of times over the course of your lifetime, and you will not get cancer. But then when like 3 things break in a certain chain, then you get cancer or you die or whatever. So, I mean, this is the most ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous design, the mTOR pathway that you've ever seen. It's just,
if you ask any engineer of any kind, he will tell you, no matter if it's software or machines or electricity or whatever, he will tell you exactly what you just said.
right.
The more complex the system, the more it breaks, the more options of breakage you have, which is why you don't want complexity. Complexity is to be avoided at all costs, unless you have to. So no one would have purposefully designed a complex system. That would not happen. So again, it's just a silly argument. And that argument, they would not accept it for anything else other than them pretending that this system is designed.
Okay.
Because it's stupid to say that.
I'm not paying attention to that. So, Brainbug, why are you on probation? I don't know why you're on probation. No, Brainbug's not on probation. You're supposed to have a wrench. Hang on a second. Brainbug lost his wrench. Did you want a wrench, Brainbug? You got a wrench. Leo, you don't have a... No, nobody has a wrench anymore. What happened to all my wrenches? They all went away. Leo and Brainbug, you now have a wrench. Scott has a wrench. I don't know. Has Brainbug been bad? No, he hasn't been bad. Are you still with me, Meny?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, so something that you hear from creationists all the time is, do you believe you evolved from a single-celled organism, right? Have you heard that one?
Well, I don't believe it. That is what the experts tell me.
Okay.
And since I'm not an expert, I just take their word for it. Sorry. Because
okay, do you believe... Let me ask you, do you believe that you developed from this organism right here that I have a picture
of? I don't know, maybe.
Well, you know what that organism...
If you can present good evidence to show that I did,
well,
then maybe I did.
Maybe I should tell you what organism this is.
Go ahead.
This is a zygote. This is what your mommy...
Yeah.
This is what your mommy
had.
It is a zygote. here's let's say, let me get a different color here. Okay. Here's a daddy part coming in here, poking his head, poking his dick in here. And mommy and daddy are going to join up right here, that sort of thing. And the nuclei are going to join. So we know that you came from a single-celled organism, and here you are. Right?
We also know that life cannot come from non-life. So we must be made of living things like phosphate, right? That's alive.
I don't have a
and
picture.
Nitrogen, that's very much alive.
This is my rock.
And what are your bones made of? Mostly calcium. Yes, calcium. Last time I had a nice conversation with Calcium. He had a lot to say. Like, we are made of non-living materials because life is not a something, life is a process.
What the hell? And people are losing wrenches here. I mean, are you guys throwing your wrenches away? What, Scott, do you still have a wrench? Okay, Leo, I just gave you a wrench. I did not take your wrench away and gave it to Brainbug. But I think Brainbug has a wrench. Yes. Oh my God. I don't know what these guys are talking about. What the hell are you guys talking about in chat? I have not been keeping up. I got Scott Duke, I got Leo, I got Brainbug. Who else we got? Appreciate the job you did against the master. Okay. We're trying to catch up. But anyway, I mean, okay, I wanna drive this point home. You did come from a single-celled organism. That's where we all came from. So this whole developmental process, which is, amazing right here, this process right here, that takes miracle after miracle after miracle in order to get you from the single-celled organism to this full-cell organism. But we know what all those miracles are, so we can look at those in the lab and we can watch every step. So we already know that this is all naturalism. Okay, this is entirely natural.
And here I have to add something. In case you are a believing person of any kind, because in Israel we don't actually use theist and atheist, we just use believing. We call it a believing person.
You execute all. Yes. Go ahead. I think you cut out on me. Hi, Ian. Okay, I'm going to try to keep track of comments, guys. I'm not sure what the hell's going on. I gave Leo his wrench back. Leo should have a wrench now. Everybody has a wrench now. I think everybody has a wrench. So quit bugging me, guys. You all have fucking wrenches. Ian has a wrench. Yes. All y'all have a wrench. Anyway, I keep trying to make this point about naturalism. And if we study how humans turn from zygotes into human beings, at no point in that did the creationists ask us, oh, but you're not considering intelligent design. That, maybe God came in there with his little tiny fingers. You were blanked out for quite a while, so I missed everything you said.
Okay, so I'm going to say it again. This great Jewish rabbi Maimonides, he basically said that we are commanded to study the wonders of the Creator, because you cannot study the Creator directly, then you study nature. You study the revealed universe in order to know the wonders of the Creator. So studying abiogenesis or evolution from that standpoint is learning the wonders of the Creator. And you don't have to go and lie about it and invent all kinds of crazy tales. Why? Whatever for?
On Praise I Am That I Am, and I think Nicholas Whitmire, they read a Bible passage that says something about, and Sal Cordova, I think, also quotes a Bible passage that says, look into the wonders of the Creator. And what they mean by that is not the wonders of nature, but the wonders of how the Creator must have done all this stuff in the past, how he used his little fingers to create this and create that. Yeah.
And do we need to remind them that one is not allowed to look at the creator? That is a big no-no? You are not allowed to do that. You are only allowed to study the world around you.
Right. So,
and not you are like trying to look directly at him is a sin. According to their own logic, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to start saying, "Oh, the designer must have done that." No. Bad, naughty boy. Stop doing that. You study nature. And you say, "Oh my, nature is so amazing. The creator must be as amazing as this."
I'm drawing a self-portrait. I only have one eye.
So,
I have two eyes.
I had another thing coming and I've lost it. Studying nature. We've been through why complexity is stupid. Because nobody designs that way. Complex systems tend to break, so you wouldn't use them. What was I going to say? God, it was so much silly in everything he said. Also, without hunting down any of his quotes, we all know if he's quoting a creationist, it's going to be pseudoscience, and we all know that. And if he's quoting from some normal scientist, that scientist is not saying what Neff is saying, or John Maddox is saying, or any other of those. We know that they twist science, or at least the guys who write down their theories do it. Dr. Dan has been doing a wonderful job in showing us how these great minds that work for the various organizations lie and twist and corrupt science to get to where they go. And that's just evil, is what it is. There's nothing good about it, not from a secular standpoint and not from a religious standpoint. Lying for God is not a thing. That's just not a thing. You don't do that. And there's a reason why we used to have a Golden Crocodile Award. And unfortunately, that's not being handed anymore. But if it was, I would nominate. Nephilim Free, of course, was nominated. I don't know if he ever won a Golden Crocodile. No, of course he was nominated. Come on, please.
Well, he made the Rational Wiki anyway, as a creator of the lunar bukkake theory, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, I heard, if I heard correctly, if what I heard is correct, then Conservapedia sees Nephilim as a very esteemed scientist. I repeat, scientist.
Yeah.
Oh, which brings me to another question. These guys do not have an education in biology. We know that. They know that.
Yeah.
And yet,
they
go and read studies and allow themselves to conclude other, like different stuff than what the expert says. So, would they go to a doctor that said, "Look, I have no medical training, but I have this book which tells me exactly what to do. However, I am smarter than the book, even though I am uneducated. So I will not treat you according to what the book says. I'm just going to make up new medicine just for you because that's what feels right to me."
Well, there's a problem. There's a problem with the books that they will point out, and that is okay. I don't know if you've seen a book, but I'm drawing. There's all these black parts here that they draw, and I think they're green parts. But anyway, the black parts. Okay, if you read the black parts, the black parts are written by evolutionists, and they're biased. So they're evolutionists. What you need to do if you are a creationist is you read the white parts in between the words. Okay. You don't read the words. You read in between the words, and you kind of like make shit up, right? Because or you pick the parts of the words that fit exactly what you want to say, and then you're a good creationist.
Yeah.
You're all happy, right? And they do, and I showed how somehow Nephilim put that paper up, and that paper is pretty fucking dense. If you don't understand Hawk's genes and a few other things, you are not going to be able to read that paper. And I don't think Nephilim ever figured out what that paper said, other than it seemed to imply the three things that he lied about on the right. And he put that up as a slide, and he'll probably bring that up in one of his debates. So it just goes on, and I've seen example after example. But the point is,
that's why I want to attack the basic concept that they're advancing, and not the specific quote that they're bringing to a specific debate. It's the basic concepts that stink.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to get at with methodological naturalism. Smokey Saint goes after methodological naturalism directly. At least he's honest about that. Most of them won't admit to that, but he actually thinks there's something wrong with that. He went after that one of his debates, one that we were going to go over, and that's one thing I wanted to point out. There was something else. I just lost it. So, I was talking to a creationist friend a couple of days ago, and he was asking me questions about genetics. And I realized that there were a lot of things about genetics that this man needed to know that he hadn't figured out yet. Okay. Yet he has come very forcefully to the fore and argued for knowing that evolution did not happen. And he does this very often. Yet he was asking me these questions that indicate to me that he is not ready to make that argument yet. Do you know what I mean? He's not.
Well,
he is not informed enough to make that argument, yet he makes arguments based on the stuff that he was asking me. And he's a very nice guy. I'm not going to dox him or give his name, but I was not amused. I was actually I kind of understood him in that his point was not to convince us with science. Well, his point was to convince us with science, but that is not why he believes what he believes. He does not believe in the science because he doesn't know it yet. He's trying to find a way to make the science convince us of what he is already convinced of by his particular interpretation of Genesis. Now
you always like to ask me what it is that I believe in and stuff like that. Yeah. I will turn to a great Jewish teacher that I had the I don't know how to say it, the great privilege of studying under a pupil of his eldest son. In Judaism, you pass on knowledge from master to pupil. So that was a great privilege that I had. And this teacher of esoteric writings of Judaism, he had a few things to say. And one of them was, he was trying to explain if there's a soul or not. And he said, if you try and solve this question with your mind, like figure out if there's a soul or not, you can come to any answer, and then you can change it and change it again. And every day something else will make sense to you, and you will never know. And he said, so as long as you don't know if there's a soul, you haven't seen a soul with your very own eyes, then all you have is biology and chemistry, and you go to the doctor and there are no souls. That's it. No souls for you until you can actually you have the actual evidence. Before that, it does not exist. And this is coming from like an esoteric teacher, not from a scientist.
Right. So you
So
kind of sound like an atheist.
he does, doesn't he? He was a rabbi, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
And the second thing that I can quote from him is that he said he pities the Orthodox Jews because they think that a 12-year-old, because when you're 13, you have your bar mitzvah and you're a grown-up. So he said they think a 12-year-old child knows everything there is to know about the world, and now all that's left is doing his mitzvahs better, doing the precepts and commandments better.
Right.
And that's it. And this is the same mindset we see with these people. They have been taught something as children, and that's it. Now they think they know everything there is to know, and any new knowledge has to be made to fit into that.
Yeah.
That is like someone trying to fit the universe into Hansel and Gretel because that's what his mommy told him when he was a kid. That stunts you. That stunts your development as a human.
Yeah, when I went to Sunday school at a Presbyterian school, they taught us all about Noah's Ark, and they taught us about God baking cookies in the oven. And, you know, he stuck the little cookies in and took them out, and those are human beings, and God did all. And that story is what creationism sounds like to me. And I can't believe that there are adults that are willing to, they create a channel and put out 10 videos a day explaining why that story is correct. Trying to use science to explain why that story is correct. Can I open up? Can I put a link in the chat and let people in? Or do you have more points?
Go ahead, sure.
Okay.
The more the merrier, and maybe they can take this conversation into other directions that we're not thinking of.
Yeah, Leo might want to come in.
So, like, you know, also another thing that they keep implying is that evolution has been and other scientific ideas that they don't like have somehow kidnapped or hijacked the world. So let's be clear. You guys had the run of of the Western world for like centuries, and you couldn't get one thing straight. Like, we all believed that the flood actually happened until it was disproved. You've lost. Quit. That's it. You've lost that battle. Pretending that you are now somehow trying to save everyone from misconceptions. I'm sorry, everyone already believed you.
Yep. 700 years, Brainbug. I didn't follow where that came from. So Brainbug, if you want to come in, or Leo, or Ian, or Scott. We've only got a few people watching, I think. You guys got to give me some likes, because there's somebody out there that gave me 7 dislikes the other day, and they screwed up my average. We need likes. Hit the like button, goddammit. And watch. I'll figure out who's lurking out there when I see the down button go dark. Anyway, the thing is, okay, today, methodological naturalism, which is what science is. It's the method that science uses. Okay, if I'm this critter right here and I go to the doctor today, do you want your doctor to consult the Bible first? After he gets your x-ray, should he consult the Bible, or should he use methodological naturalism to determine whether or not you're ill, to find out why you're sick? So that's the point. Would you like that? Would you like your doctor to abandon methodological naturalism and stop being such a biased asshole, because all he believes in is science, and he will read your x-ray according to either I think tea leaves work as well as the Bible for reading an x-ray? I don't know. What do you think, Leo?
What? What's
Leo,
up?
Where
What's
are
up?
you, Leo?
What are we talking about?
Fucking paying attention. I'm like
No, I wasn't actually. I was reading something on. I was reading
on
something.
Amelia Clark.
No. On what's her name? Milana. No. What?
Melania Trump.
No.
Melania, who? Who the
Apparently
fuck is
they've
that?
got two completely different names. And of course the article just
Millennium
motherfucking
Trump.
appeared. No.
Millennium
that's not,
Trump.
No. It wasn't. I don't read about the Trumps.
Okay,
Why would I do that?
Trump. Imagine Millennium Trump.
I don't know what that means.
Scary.
Millennium.
Can we not imagine Trumps?
Millennium.
We have them in reality. Now we also have to imagine them? Come on, dude. No.
1,000 years of Trump. Millennium Trump.
So I got cut off in the middle of a rant there.
Okay.
So I'll try to give a really short version.
Rant.
Like, yeah, basically, everyone believed Adam and Eve. And you lost. It's not that people never believed in it, and now you're suddenly coming up with something new. We had that fairy tale. It had its time, and it is not real. It cannot be real. You do not get a species from two individuals. Stop it. Just stop it. And if you listen, I keep saying that, if you listen to Bishop Shelby Spong, I think Episcopalian. No, he's really amazing. And if anyone is somehow spiritually minded or wants to hear a sane Christian talk, I recommend listening to Shelby Spong.
Yeah, I've listened to a lot of his YouTube lectures and stuff, and he is great. He's well grounded. He's, I guess you would call him progressive or liberal, something like that.
Could anybody spell that for me?
I'll write it in chat.
Okay.
We should always write things in chat.
I don't even know if he's still alive, but his stuff.
I honestly don't know if he's still alive. I'm not sure.
Well, it really helped me through my deconversion as I was trying to sort out issues and things. I went through a kind of a quasi-theistic evolutionist stage, but he just convinced me that that really wasn't necessary, taking the Bible. And then, of course, I became an atheist, so it didn't really matter after that. But yeah, he's got a good handle on the Bible and things, on how to read it.
And one of the things I loved hearing him say is, we have lost that battle. Evolution is true. Give it up.
Yeah.
And I'm not paraphrasing too much. That's more or less the way he put it. Like, enough already with the creationism thing. And it was in a debate where he explained that there's nothing wrong with homosexuality. And he basically said the Bible is wrong about a million things. And that's what he learned through life, that the Bible is simply wrong about stuff.
I remember reading the Epic of Gilgamesh for the first time and wondering, man, what if we had to take this stuff literally? But you can still read it and enjoy it and get something out of it, even though it is just a story, or, even though it's a mythology born out of the, wants and desires and aspirations of the culture that created it.
Yeah, it's like a window into the mind of ancient people. And then it becomes something really intriguing. But not as a guide to reality. Guys, come on. Get real here.
I remember actually I read Epic of Gilgamesh when I was in my second or third year of seminary, taking it was a Christian missionary class, and for some reason I decided I need to read some of these older text from the same area, and I started to kind of find it a little bit quite inspirational, and boy, that caused me some cognitive dissonance there. How am I getting inspiration out of this this pagan ancient Sumerian story, and not getting quite as much inspiration lately out of this New Testament?
Right.
Oh,
So,
that's probably the devil. That was the devil. He was talking to you.
That's what the devil was
But
tempting. And now I'm a demonic hyena.
yeah.
I'm gonna send
by the way,
email with you in its speed, because I'm gonna tag you in praise in it. And what I'm thinking about doing is I want to push James into the consciousness debate, and this is the reason why. Because what the fuck is that?
I don't know.
But
Satan.
most debates on the soul, is there a soul, is there an immaterial soul, almost always end up devolving into a debate on the physicality of consciousness to begin with. So I would rather just sidestep that and directly head on tackle the original headline that I proposed to James is consciousness physical. I think a better one would be, is the conscious mind immaterial? I think that would, and I'm sorry, but I think that's going to attract a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm
going to tell James, if Praise agrees to a team debate, if you want to tell him, you can say, hey, I want you to pick Maddox, because he might. But
I need a full 2 weeks to prep.
Can I just say one thing?
You need 2 weeks to prep.
Why would you need 2 weeks to prep on consciousness?
All I need to do is examine my links and put together some quick notes, and I'll be good to go. But yeah, I mean, we can set it, because it'll probably be, if James says, yeah, we can do it, he'll probably have it set to later this month, if not early November anyway. So, yeah. But what's that, Meny?
I just want to put in one small reservation that you always have to keep, and this is because I'm not exactly an atheist. We don't know what a soul is, but we can discuss their version of a soul and arrive at the conclusion if their version of a soul makes sense or not.
Well, if somebody's arguing that the soul is somehow physical, my response would be, because their idea of a soul is that it's immaterial. So the only other idea I could imagine is that somebody's idea of the soul is that it's material. Okay, what is it and where is it at in the body? I take the view that Aaron Ra does. The whole concept of a soul arose because humans didn't fucking know what air was.
Maybe. Could be.
Breath, spirit, that sort of thing.
Because that's what the word soul, I mean, it started with spirit, and spirit literally meant like to breathe.
Right.
And so what they knew, and this is what Aaron Ra has extrapolated on, is that what they knew is that if you're alive, you're breathing air. If you stop somebody from breathing, they're dead, and anybody who's dead isn't breathing. So obviously there must be something there that's around us that we are consistently breathing in that keeps us alive.
Can I defeat that one?
You can try.
In Hebrew, we have 5 different words that relate to a living soul. So you have nefesh, which is animation, more or less, like animated cartoons, or hanpasha in Hebrew, from the word nefesh. Nefesh is something all living creatures have. Then you have ruach, which also means wind, and also means spirit. And that is what only certain creatures have. And then you have neshama, which is exactly like neshima. Neshima is to breathe, the breath, and neshama is the soul. But that is something you evolve, something you're not born with, something you have to grow. It doesn't exist otherwise. And then you have chaya, which is the living thing, and that's something else. And finally, you have yechida, which sort of means the individual, which is like the top level of spirituality. So I could argue my way out of any trap with this by using these 5 concepts of
Actually-
different level. So which is why I'm saying limit your critique to their model. Think of it as a scientific model which you are falsifying. That only falsifies that one model. It doesn't falsify all of them. You have to accept that.
Okay.
Well, I would state that there isn't a soul in any sense at all. There is humans, and everything that makes a human is physical by definition. Everything. Every last aspect of anything that's ever been known to exist is physical. So if somebody wants to argue that a soul is a physical thing, that's great, but then you got to identify it for me. Otherwise, you're talking about something that's not really there, but saying that it's there, but you can't identify what it is or where it's at, so it's not really there, which just comes down to arguing something into existence.
So that takes us back to what I was saying before. If you have not seen evidence of a soul, then there are no souls, and stop talking about them because you're talking bullshit. And this comes from a rabbi.
Exactly.
A rabbi said that.
What is it that you wanted to say, Jay?
Oh, if you ask them whether or not a soul is necessary for anything, like a soul, is it necessary for something in order for something to exist to have a soul, like anything living, a sentient? Let's say you narrow it to something as being sentient of origin.
Yeah.
Having a soul, is that necessary for that thing to be sentient? And if they say yes, or they say it's yes, it is necessary, then they are required to demonstrate that philosophically, because they are saying it's necessary for that state of affairs.
Yep.
That's the one way that a person, if you're arguing it simply off the concept, then yes, I agree with Meny. Then you can get out of that trap until you get cornered into the whole if you agree, if the soul is necessary, then it requires you to demonstrate how it's necessary, how it works.
And I just, the whole soul debate, is there a soul? Is soul immaterial, has just been hammered home by so many people on so many different channels. And if you look at all of those debates, they all devolve into essentially, is consciousness physical? Is consciousness immaterial?
Consciousness is physical.
So what I would rather do is, instead of talking about whether or not there's a soul, an immaterial soul, and end up with a debate on the physicality of consciousness, I'd rather just debate the physicality of consciousness. And I'm gonna explain that if Praise agrees to a team debate and finds a partner and we all agree, I'm gonna see if all of us can kind of push James in that direction. Like, hey, this debate is probably going to devolve into a discussion about the physicality of consciousness. Why not just tackle that head on?
Well, the thing
I would say more than that, Leo, because you can debate, you on your side can debate the physicality of consciousness, and I would claim that you know nothing about souls and are ill-equipped to debate souls.
Of course, nobody
You would
knows
need
anything
someone
about
who
it.
actually knows
Never
what
been
it is to debate.
Well, you get into souls with Praise, you're not going to get into the physicality of it, because to him, philosophy means
So you can tell Praise to go screw himself,
Praise is
because
not a very
Praise has no idea what a soul is. Zilch, zero, none.
Well, they think part of your mind, okay, is over here in the brain, right? And they think part of it is in your soul.
Yeah, they're idiots.
And if you press them, what do they say? What do they have to say about that? What part is where? Like if I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking about something, and I'm thinking, okay, I have to go out and rake my yard, but oh shit, why don't I just start my snowblower? Which part of that is
in the soul?
Which is the soul?
Yeah, and then they'll go on like emotions, like, well, how much does love weigh? Like, I already can see Praise asking that question, and it's like, that's like asking, what is number 3 made out of?
21 grams.
Concepts aren't
was
made
about
out of
110 pounds. If you get it.
Well, don't the Buddhists
Get a
or
good
a
one?
lot of ancient Eastern religions believe the soul is located in the belly? Or is that just kind of a misperception?
No, the
have
heart
no
or the
idea.
belly or the center of you is basically how you approach the world. And no, they don't really believe there's an actual spiritual thing there. They believe that you are your soul, that your body, as you know, as you come full frontal onto the world, basically you're approaching the world from the center of yourself, which is your heart, your breathing, and the feelings, you know, the guttural feelings from your stomach. So that's why Eastern religion would find for the soul being there.
I dare one of you guys to reference the Sean Penn movie, 21 Grams. I dare you.
That's
not
been
doing it.
so thoroughly deconstructed, it's not even funny. Which Praise probably would try to cite that because he's just not very good at debate.
You mean,
That
you mean
movie
the great
wasn't about that
theologian
movie.
Sean Penn?
What?
I don't think Praise has seen 21 Grams.
Probably not.
Probably not. No.
But the one thing that's going to be difficult with a team debate is he'll still want like 10 to 12 minutes flexible introduction for each side. I'm going to have a hard time wrapping up a point in 5 or 6 minutes. And I doubt he'd do a 40-minute introduction with each person getting 10 because that's just going to take up a majority of the debate. It would just depend on how long he wants the debate to run. Because then if he still leaves an hour open for the open discussion, that's an hour and 40 minutes right there. So by the time the Q&A is done, we'll be pushing a little over 2 hours, which there are more people on the panel, and those debates do tend to run a little bit longer. But having 8 to 10 minutes for an intro, I might be able to work with that. But I mean, once we just have to wait until we get everything established and see what his opinion is.
Leo, I would argue,
Leo,
wait, I would
there's
argue
this.
that if Leo had an oxygen tank, he could probably do it in 6 minutes.
No.
Okay, Leo, there's this rule that says
Leo, the book on tape. I said it 2 times speed. Go.
Okay, Leo, there's the rule that says if you can't explain something in 5 sentences, then you can't explain it in 10 either. Okay, if you know something, no, it's actually quite true. So I would give you.
Go
I
into
would
particle
suggest
physics and try that. You won't get very
Yeah,
far.
okay. Trust me,
Same with
it can
advanced
be
math.
done.
No, it can't.
The concept.
Because if you try to do it with certain things, what's going to happen is you're going to describe it in such an overly simplistic way that your description is going to end up being inaccurate. There have been numerous things I've tried to explain that way that you just can't explain that way. It's not going to happen.
You start with the simple. That's your introduction.
I don't like
you
being
start.
simple.
And if you're doing that with
And
children,
you keep it simple.
if you're doing that with kids, eventually it's just going to end with you saying, "Because I said so."
Yeah. I cannot explain.
If I can make a suggestion, Speed will give you my. If you want, he'll give you my email address. Send me everything you want to say in those 5 minutes.
I don't know.
And I'll turn that into something really concise and to the point, because I'm good at that.
Well,
it's what I'm really good at.
Well, until they agree on the topic, it's going to be really hard for him to suss anything until they agree on the actual premise of the topic.
But a point that I was going to make is there's absolutely no way I could explain what gauge field theory is in 5, let alone 10 sentences. Couldn't do it. There's too many parts to what it is that have to be explained individually and then explain how you integrate them together. And see, this is the problem. Like when Einstein said, well, if you can't explain something in a way that like a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old or whatever it is that he said could understand it, and you don't understand it, then you don't understand it very well yourself. That's fucking wrong, because I could not explain I couldn't explain what a Hilbert space is to a 6-year-old at all, let alone there are certain topics that are just that advanced that they're
negative numbers to a 6-year-old?
Leo, I can explain. Leo,
can you explain negative numbers and absolute value to a 6-year-old?
Hilbert space is not negative numbers and absolute
No,
value.
I'm asking, can you explain negative numbers and not even a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old? Can you explain absolute value and negative numbers to a 5-year-old?
Probably, yeah.
Shit.
Okay, I did it in about, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes.
Depends on.
I also managed to explain to my kids what lots of other concepts that are really, really, really complicated, like what is speed, as in time and distance.
That's not really that complicated. Speed is how fast you're going.
Really?
I'm speed.
Trying to explain to a 5-year-old that speed is time and distance.
Yeah, but you can simplify it in ways where you don't have to go that complex. There are certain subjects you just can't do that. And you see that a lot in advanced mathematics and advanced physics. That's why when you're learning these things, you got to start with algebra, then you go to trigonometry, then you go to pre-calculus, then you go to single variable calculus, then you go to multivariate calculus, then you go into specifying in differential equations, partial differential equations, linear algebra, set theory, group theory,
and I can explain
getting into things like gauge field theory and all that stuff. There are topics that cannot be explained to somebody that young. They do not have the cognitive power to understand it.
There are limits. Listen,
dude,
there are limits.
Refer to my original claim. You just tell them that's because I said so. You can so explain it to them in less than 5 minutes.
No.
Okay. Let's move on to something else because we're stuck.
Hold on a second. Did anyone? Okay, Louis C.K. had a series called Louis that recently came out, but before that,
where kids are fighting like the Middle East.
No, no.
Louis C.K. in the middle.
I don't. Okay. He had another series that came out before that where he had this little girl and he was like, I don't know. It was all filmed like in his kitchen, and he was having breakfast with this little 4 or 5 year old girl, and she asked, "Daddy, why is the sun coming up or something?" And then he'd tell her, and then she'd say, "Why? And why?" And then he started telling her about his drug addiction and bad choices he made in his life. And he started to get depressed and like get into all these real complex topics. And then I forget anyway, it's a wonderful scene, but at the end of it, he says something really, really dark or something, and she says, "Okay," and she starts eating her breakfast.
Well, you know what? I have a nephew when he was little. He did that with me. He kept asking me. I go out on my on our in-laws' back patio, and I'm smoking a cigarette, drinking a beer, and he comes out. And he's like 6 years old, and he's asking me, "Well, why is that? Why is that? Why is that?" At one point, I just went, "Well, I don't know." And he goes, "Well, why don't you know?" And I said, "Because I haven't read up on it." And he goes, "Oh, really?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "So you don't know?" And I said, "Yeah, exactly. I don't know." And he goes, "Oh." I said, "You want to ask your mom and dad?" And he goes, "Oh, I already did. They said they didn't know either." And I said, "Well, there you go. All three of us are ignorant on the topic, aren't we?" And he goes, "What's ignorant mean?" "We don't know." And he goes, "Oh, cool." He just walked away.
Yeah. You never know when they're going to stop.
It's amazing how the truth can set you free.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something we were talking about before. Scott, are you still around?
War?
I'm right here.
Okay, Scott, do you remember how the Bible begins? Like the first verses of Genesis?
In the beginning, God, or another translation would say "in beginning, God." But yeah, that's the first few words of the Bible.
Okay, in the beginning, God. Do you remember the rest?
Oh, yes.
Because I don't know how it goes in English.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void.
God, you fucking piece of shit.
What?
Leo?
No, I'm talking about with this dumbass keyboard because.
Oh, okay.
Whoever designed the keyboard with the enter button next to the apostrophe button is a fucking mook.
Yeah, Leo, we're having a moment here. You're interrupting.
Leo. Okay.
Scott, go ahead. So everything was formless.
Yeah, without form and void. And then God said, "Let us create."
Okay, so let's stop. When it says formless and void, the word in Hebrew is tehom, which is translated usually as the abyss.
Yeah, I remember that particular word from classes way many years ago.
God.
So you were mentioning the Epic of Gilgamesh. Go read the Enuma Elish, which is the Babylonian creation myth.
Yeah, they use pretty much the same language to describe the preconditions to creation.
Yes.
The body
with
of
one difference.
God, has died, and then another ancient. It's almost
Exactly. There's a god called Marduk.
God creates it out of that particular god's body.
Jesus.
Exactly. The god Marduk kills the seven-headed dragon goddess and makes the earth and the seas out of out of the halves of her body. And what is the seven-headed dragon called? Tiamat. Sounds strangely like Tehom. I wonder where that came from.
Yeah, that's what I always found so interesting about going in and studying ancient Babylonian and Sumerian and Assyrian. Although I haven't really done a heavy study of it, but I just always learn so much, and it always makes so much sense when you look at those and then look at Genesis.
So people think that Genesis, that like Genesis is like the first thing ever written. No, it's an evolution of previous religions of the area.
Yeah, the ancient Near East was ancient when they actually finally put the Bible together, because they really didn't do that, form the Bible, until the 6th or 7th century BC or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in Babylonia. And
have
you can see that.
Ever seen Irving Finkel's presentation about the Sumerian flood story?
No, not familiar.
Yeah, look it up on YouTube. Irving Finkel. It's like the Ark before Noah or something like that. And they actually went in and reconstructed this round, basket-shaped boat, which was very common. I forget the name, particular name of it, and used some sort of pitch or whatever, and it was floatable. But of course, the whole story, it's not meant to say there was a literal Sumerian flood that happened that the guy survived on, but it's real interesting the number of flood stories that are found in the ancient Near East before the dating of Genesis.
Okay, so have you seen the movie of World of Warcraft?
World of Warcraft? No, I haven't seen that movie.
There's a movie.
Okay, so the Warcraft movie. Warcraft is like a computer game, but like a rich backstory, and they've done this really, really nice movie about the Warcraft world. Go watch that movie, because they have the screen fanged orc floating on water.
Leo, mute yourself if you're going to yell at your keyboard.
Leo's starting to sound like an old man.
Yeah.
So they do the whole Moses in the box, or whatever you want to call it, he's they do it with an orc, which is this fanged green, half monsterish thingy, and he's floating on water, and he gets picked up by other people, and it's funny as all hell if you come from a religious mind. It's like so funny the way you can use that story, because it's so provocative and so touching. And the story of Moses is, of course, also copied.
Yeah, it's probably like Jung's what did he call those things, that symbols or whatever that Jung described as being just kind of foundational to our conscience, subconscious or something like that. But yeah, it's kind of like a Joseph Campbell.
Joseph Campbell is a
warrior. Yeah, there's a particular kind of warrior or whatever that all these myths seem to be.
The stupidity of some people is just fucking amazing. Telling me you've read these papers that demonstrate consciousness is generated by the brain, and then ask me to tell you where in the papers that you're claiming you just fucking read that demonstrates the consciousness is generated by the brain. Wow, that is a level of intellectual dishonesty I rarely interact with.
No, consciousness is created by magic. Of course it is.
Okay, this brings me to a quick question I have for Leo.
What's up?
What did you do, Leo, to piss Otangelo off so much that he
I consistently corrected him on everything that he said. That's why he won't talk to Speed. That's why he won't talk to Demeter. That's why he won't talk to Immutable. That's why he won't talk to me. Because we have consistently corrected him and demonstrated that he's wrong to his fucking face so many times. And every time he keeps running the same arguments we've already fucking corrected and we have to correct him again on, to the point that he's just going to stop interlocuting with those individuals because he can't provide anything more.
Okay, Scott,
Yes.
he sent me an email one morning and he said he was breaking up with me basically, but he didn't put it that way because he didn't want to admit that we were boyfriend. But
I'm so sorry. Do you want me to send you a Hallmark card?
yes, I really want a Hallmark card because I'm really fucking hurt over this. Anyway, so I asked him why, and he came back with this thing and he said, basically, I won't admit that information is immaterial. That's why he broke up with me.
But it's not.
I mean, can you imagine ending a relationship over that?
Okay, I don't
Really
want fucking emails from you people on this
Fucking
stuff.
horrible. Leo, sometimes
What's
you're
up?
talking to yourself,
Yeah, I
but
do
you're
that a lot.
actually you have the camera on and the microphone on.
So Leo,
I got cut off when you were talking about Otangelo. Leo, why was Otangelo banned from the Atheist Experience?
Because he's repetitive.
That would be a question for somebody that's either on or runs the Atheist Experience. Neither of
It's
which
very
I do.
simple.
I don't know why.
Okay, so it's very simple. Because Otangelo has blocked his mind from the very possibility that
Right.
he's wrong. And as a result, he simply
Like Cafe
repeats
is doing?
himself
Like
ad
Cafe is doing,
nauseum.
like Cafe is doing in the chat. Ask me for links, and then when I provide them, well, no, those don't prove your point, which is textbook commission of the fallacy of shifting the goalpost. And it's intellectually dishonest and dismissing technical literature you haven't even read simply because it disagrees with you.
Yes,
Sad.
this is
really fucking sad.
okay. This is the prevailing consensus in neuroscience: kind of emergent property
So-
of the brain and its metabolism. Right. Okay.
Basically,
Can I play my clip?
I just want to finish a sentence and then I'm going to go and you can play whatever you like. Otangelo was banned from shows because he does not listen and he does not change his arguments. He just repeats them and repeats them and repeats them. And no matter what you say, it keeps going like a broken record.
It's a little deeper.
And eventually they got fed up.
It's a little deeper than that. Otangelo keeps teaching us the biology we already know over and over again, and then waiting for us to say, "Oh yeah, you're right." The stuff we've already learned. He repeats it to us just like ad nauseum. There's Jay.
Exactly.
Hi Jay, you're back.
And he simply thinks that you're lying to yourselves, and that is the only reason you haven't agreed with him yet. He simply cannot even envision the possibility that he's simply wrong. And that's absurd. Everyone can be wrong. So that is why Otangelo is impossible to talk to. Because
Kind of like
no matter
Cafe.
what you say, he's just going to come back with the same stuff.
Kind of like Cafe,
Who's Cafe?
the guy in chat.
He's in the chat.
Cafe.
He's gonna be on with me at 7:00 tonight. I'm gonna be talking to him. Cafe. But
Because he never
Anyway.
comes in any of the open rooms. If he wants to, he can show up to the open room that Rage is having tomorrow. He also invited Otangelo to be there, but I doubt Otangelo will come because I'll be there.
Okay, I'm gonna quit the live stream now. I'll go look in the chat what this Cafe guy is on about.
You talk to him.
Yeah, you roll your
I
clip,
gave
my
him-
darling.
I gave him the technical literature. He refused to read it because it disagrees with him, just demonstrating his intellectual dishonesty and inability to change his opinion when presented with new information or to have a discussion on the information. He's just going to steamroll a discussion, hoping that he can convince somebody that he's right when he's not.
So, as someone who's studied a bit of psychology and a bit of neuroscience, yes,
He keeps claiming
consciousness
he's
is
read it,
physical.
but then asked me
Give
what
up
the
the
paper
ghost.
said that he claims he's read. It's just fucking hilarious.
Ian
Then
Chan,
he
you
misread them.
time out. Since you have a wrench, that joke will not stand.
No, you don't like that joke.
Love you guys. Thanks to everyone who actually
Yarn.
bothered to listen. Bye bye.
Okay, goodbye,
Now-
goodbye, Many.
I
Many
sent
Karens,
that email, by the way, Praise.
not just one
So
Karen.
you should get in it and be like, oh, I told him that you wanted him to pick Maddox, but that he can pick whoever he wants. You should reply and be like, you better fucking pick Maddox, because I think he will. I think he will. I really do.
Okay.
I hope he does.
Can I play a 2 minute? Has anybody seen this clip? Is it okay to play Louis C.K. even as the that black band that I can't even play a clip from him?
I think
Cafe, you haven't pointed out anything to me. You've disagreed on papers that I know for a fact you haven't read, and I know that you haven't read them because they thoroughly demonstrate everything you're saying is wrong. Again, what you're doing is called moving the goalposts. You made a statement, you asked for evidence for it, I provided that, and after I provided it, you dismissed that and say, no, that's not evidence. It's not only fallacious, but it's intellectually dishonest, and it demonstrates your inability to actually have a conversation, which you haven't been doing.
Wait, but that's all he would ever do when it came to his. I mean, he would post like YouTube videos and certain studies about metaphysical or mystical experiences and stuff, but there were nothing necessarily about these studies that pointed that these mystical experiences came from any one particular god or what the actual function was. So I think that's kind of. I agree with you, Leo. I think that's. I don't even think it's really a pushing or moving the goalpost, but it's kind of a double standard. He can post his sources, then you give him his sources, and then he just doesn't agree with them the same as we don't agree with his.
Yeah. And I know for a fact he hasn't read them. He hasn't. He's gonna act like he's so educated on this subject. Well, I've read all these papers before. No, you fucking haven't. You're just mad that I actually was capable of readily providing papers and am still doing it, and you can't do it. And he's I'm dismissing it because it's irrelevant. It's not irrelevant. It just disagrees with you. I mean, every comment he makes is demonstrating how intellectual. I wouldn't even have him on speed. I couldn't stand to have a discussion with somebody that intellectually dishonest.
Well, don't get all smoky on us. But what exactly what were you guys talking about?
Well, the physicality of consciousness and how consciousness is generated by the brain.
Because he's a dualist, and you're
No, he's some other brand of something. He's a panentheist. I'm going to kind of get into that tonight with him. I'm trying to find out. Because I have had like thousands of email exchanges with him and Facebook exchanges, and we were on Google something or another for a long time, and I never got anywhere with him. So I thought talking to him, and I have talked to him once on the phone. We were going to debate on modern day debate, but it didn't materialize. Whoa! And anyway, so tonight we're going to try and talk, and I'm going to try and talk to Cafe, whatever. First thing I'm going to do is figure out how to pronounce his name.
Cafe.
Okay, let me just play this dumb 2-minute clip. Have you seen this, Jay? This particular.
I'm not a fan of Louis C.K. I find him about as freaking funny as.
Oh, really? Holy shit! Do we have a different sense of humor? Wow. But anyway, okay.
Didn't Louis C.K. get in trouble for like sexual harassment or?
We're not going to talk. We're not talking about sexual anything.
Well, no, but I asked a question.
Yes, he did get in trouble for sexual abuse. Yes, he did.
The claims were pretty well founded. You're welcome, Brainbug, because I know that you'll read them. Unlike Cafe, I was really tempted to just time him out, but what he's doing is he's purposefully trolling to try to get me worked up by just repeatedly claiming the same thing. Well, no, those papers don't show it. I've read it. No, you haven't.
Well, Leo, he had a long conversation with Barney, and he didn't get anywhere with Barney Tierspell. And Barney was being as charitable as Barney. And you know, if any of you ever had a conversation with
Barney the dinosaur?
Not Barney the dinosaur, Barney Tierspell. He's Croatian.
He's what?
He's from Croatia. He's Croatian.
And what does he do?
There are dinosaurs in Croatia?
No, he's not Barney the dinosaur. I don't think that Barney Tierspell is a different YouTuber. But he probably about a year ago he had a long conversation with Cafe off air about his beliefs and about what he was trying to convince.
Is this Barney guy like a neuroscientist or something?
No, Barney's an editor by trade. I believe he's an editor by trade. I don't know what he's doing now for a living, but he's very knowledgeable about philosophy. He's a nice sort. He's a friend that I'd like to call him a friend on here, especially when it comes to getting him and Nicola and Ozzy are probably my three favorite sources for philosophy.
Yeah, I talked to Nicola. Unfortunately, we didn't record the first 30 minutes of it, but I'm going to post the rest of it. I just have to edit out some parts. A couple days ago, actually, on naturalism, because I'm trying to flesh out my naturalism. So,
Sure. Yeah. Well, Barney, and I'm not doxing him in any way. He's an atheist and a stoic.
Okay.
So,
does he have a YouTube channel now?
Yeah,
or...
just look up Barney. Yeah, just look up Barney Deerspell.
Can you put that in the chat?
Yeah, I'll put it in there.
Was he trying to educate Cafe on his dumbass substance dualism?
No, he wasn't trying to.
He was trying to communicate with him.
He was just basically trying to get to why he believed what he believed and justifications and so on. And
it was very hard, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I tried to communicate with Cafe for years, and I think a couple of years, and it doesn't go well. But we're going to try again tonight.
Oh, Bray said he'll ask, so I think he's going to ask Maddox if he wants to do it. Oh, shit.
Oh, good. Okay.
And if he does, then I'm going to put us all in a email and say, okay, James wants it to be on the soul. And I'm going to be like, straight up, we all know that this is probably going to devolve into a discussion about the physicality of consciousness. I think if we all just go to James in an email and say, hey, we would all rather it be on consciousness because we know it's going to devolve to that anyway. Would you still be willing to host it? James will probably say yes.
You guys, hey, before you go into that, I recommend that you look up and you read up on subjective idealism. Before you go into a debate with him, Praise holds to subjective idealism. So I suggest you read up some philosophy on subjective idealism. If it devolves to the physicality of consciousness, he's not.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's saying it's that only minds it's only the mind exists and everything else is essentially generated from it.
He's going to take you down the path of that. You need to ground physicality in something.
Yeah, he's a pre-sup.
Well,
yeah.
I've
seen him have debates on this. I know what his trope is.
Well, he has
not hard to refute.
Well, he has some difficulties with some of his philosophical concepts, but
yeah, he does.
In essence, yeah, he does kind of smuggle in some precept there, but he doesn't think that reality is real. He thinks that you have to actually have a justification for reality. Reality doesn't actually ground us. We have to have something that grounds reality. Mm-hmm. And because if you're an atheist, you're necessarily a metaphysical naturalist. You're not a methodological naturalist. You're a metaphysical naturalist. You don't believe that anything can be metaphysical. Basically, you believe that. Well, and he doesn't even get naturalism. Well, he doesn't get it. He doesn't even get that correct. Metaphysical naturalists believe that there are metaphysical things, but they don't believe in the supernatural for ways of explaining metaphysical causation, or why we have metaphysical concepts, why we have metaphysical things like the mind and mathematics and stuff like that. They believe that this all comes from the physical, or predominantly is founded kind of in the physical.
Yeah, their conventions of the human mind, and the human mind is physical. So without the human mind there to produce those things don't exist. Those things are still grounded.
He doesn't think the mind is physical because he thinks reality is mental.
Some metaphysical naturalists don't believe the word supernatural makes any sense at all.
See, the thing is, there really isn't a distinction between I just call naturalism and then methodological naturalism, because methodological naturalism is better called methodological empiricism or the scientific method. That's literally what it is. It's a method for how we learn things. It isn't an ideology, whereas naturalism is a worldview that only the natural realm exists, or at least that it's more likely that only the natural realm exists, and that is what I am.
But with metaphysical naturalism, it dismisses supernatural claims.
Yeah.
So supernatural claims don't really mean anything because supernatural really doesn't do anything in the substrate of that. Exactly. Methodological naturalism holds itself open to some extent. It can be argued that it doesn't, but to some extent to the idea of the supernatural, if the supernatural can be demonstrated. But if the supernatural is demonstrated to be something that works within the natural, then do we really need to claim it as supernatural?
Methodological naturalism is a method, whereas metaphysical naturalism is a philosophical position or a metaphysical position.
I noticed
Well,
that
they're all-
Cafe
they're
is
both
just
general
quoting
philosophers.
from one paper, the one I cited from Psychology Today, which isn't a paper, it's Psychology Today, is a magazine. And I read that, and I remember the quote that he's pulling from it. Fenwick believes that consciousness actually exists independently and outside of the brain as an inherent property of the universe itself, like dark matter and dark energy or gravity, which are still physical things, which would still mean that consciousness is physical, even if it can exist independently of the physical brain. It's still a physical thing. But that he's talking about somebody who believes this, and at the end of that article says that there's no reason to believe that this guy is correct and there isn't any data to support it. So he's claiming I haven't read the papers, but he's not citing a paper. He's citing an article in a magazine written by Dr. Lazarus. Lazarus? I can't remember the guy's name. It was PhD in psychology. So I actually have read it. He's just quote mining and cherry picking from the article, thinking that he's making a point. Wow.
Well, wait,
That's just
wait,
a level
wait,
of
did he-
intellectual honesty that is, I would dare say it's unbounded.
Wait, not to dishonest or disingenuously put or misrepresent somebody's position. Is he saying that consciousness is an inherent part of the universe?
I don't know what,
Yes. Well,
Cafe himself believes. I don't really care. He's wrong.
panentheism, not pantheism, but panentheism, which I think.
But it's consciousness. So here's the problem: is contingency. Whether or not, okay, let's say that it's inherent to the universe, a form of consciousness, and it's contingent on there being a universe. If the universe is physical, then that means that it's inherently physical.
Yeah.
That's where you can take that. That's where you can logically take that, possibly.
Yeah. Panentheism essentially argues that the universe or reality is itself essentially a subset of God or a substrate of God.
Yeah, it's kind of like pantheism with an outer shell.
Well, pantheism is that the universe is God, whereas panentheism is the universe is separate in the sense that, like, lowercase a is separate than uppercase A, but is in the set uppercase A. So it's that the universe is a subset of God, but isn't God himself. Whereas pantheists say that the universe just is God.
And experientialism, he's claiming.
I don't know what that is.
Well, that
that's
doesn't.
McKenna.
Well, that doesn't make any sense either, because everything would be of God. So the universe would be of God, even in panentheism.
Yeah, but the universe is of God, but it's not God.
Yeah, it's not equivalent, not identical to God.
Like, pantheists literally believe that the universe is not a subset of God, that the universe is equal.
Pantheists say that God is actually probably the God that you actually work with, whereas panentheism is, like you
kind
said,
of like the best way for panentheism is it's like a slice of bread is a part of the loaf, whereas pantheists believe that the slice of bread is the loaf, which doesn't make, it's kind of contrived, but I think you guys get what I'm saying.
Okay,
and here comes Sal Cordova with the quote mines.
Where's Sal?
In the side chat.
Prestigious universe. What the fuck is this?
the most scientific statement ever made. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, what the fuck? Mental Universe, prestigious scientific journal.
That's what the MSU scientists were saying when they found out that mosquitoes actually evolved a higher tolerance to fucking certain pesticides. What the fuck?
What the fuck? Yeah.
I love bringing that up. I really do love bringing that up. Anti-evolution. I'm like, you never heard about mosquitoes actually becoming? Oh, that's adaptation, not evolution. I'm like, their genes literally changed, motherfucker.
Yeah.
The genes literally changed so that they would be more resistant to certain pesticides, so that they could spread on their progeny.
Okay, let's try to hash this out. Philip Goff draws a distinction between pan-experientialism and pan-cognitism in the form of panpsychism.
Hold the fuck on here. Did he really just cite Richard Kahn Henry, who's not, I don't believe, is a neuroscientist or a cognitive scientist? I'm pretty sure he's like a physicist or an astrophysicist.
Probably, yeah.
And he did write a paper in 2005, I believe it was, called The Mental Universe. I don't think it was very well received.
Okay, conscious experience is present everywhere at a fundamental level, hence the term pan-experience. Okay, is that what the fuck you believe now, Kafai? Have you smoked more mushrooms since I talked to you last?
I didn't know you could get high smoking mushrooms. I thought that destroyed the
Yeah, I'd probably die. I'm just, like, okay.
He's just throwing it out there colloquially.
Okay, I fucked up. So did you snort more mushrooms?
Yeah, I snort. Why? No, you just, dude, you eat them. How long has it been, Speed? Really?
Snort?
Come on now.
No, did you anally inject more mushrooms? Did
Heck,
you? Okay,
What-
mushrooms up the butt. Says somebody
Can you guys
asked
hear
me.
Can you guys
Yeah.
hear me? Test.
Yes.
Okay. I switched over
Yes.
to my earbuds, so I
Okay,
wasn't sure.
somebody. Who the hell was it? Was it? God, listen. Was it somebody was talking about basically injecting cocaine up your butt, and they were talking about how they draw the line at that, and
What
I
is the
asked them.
technical term
I
for
asked
that?
them, have you never heard of meet me in the middle?
What's the technical term for
I don't know if you
ingestion?
got that or not. What's that? Leo, you keep interrupting.
What's the technical term for ingestion through anal?
Boofing.
Well, it's called a
boofing.
suppository.
It-
But is it?
Boofing crack. No, boofing.
No,
crack.
I want the technical term.
Okay.
Boofing crack. I just gave it to you. Come on, man.
Well, that's not technical.
Yeah, but you don't just put it up your butt. You basically you smoke it, you snort it, you inject it, you shoot it, and you shove it up your butt all at the same time. It's called meet me in the middle. It's a wonderful experience. No, I've never had that one.
Sounds like a heart attack. Man, dude, you seem jacked up, man. I've snorted it, smoked it, and I've got some up my butt. I am fucking wired.
Water, man. Yeah, this is good shit. This is some good shit.
Is it good high quality? No, I'd say it's good 90% pure. Only caught with a very minimal baking soda. It's good. It's good.
Burns like a motherfucker, but goddamn,
It's good.
I'm feeling
Good.
pretty good.
Yep, it's good.
What? Well, hold on, Sal. When did I make an argumentum ad populum? You made an argument from authority by citing a physicist as it relates to neuroscience. But where did I make an argumentum ad populum? I didn't do that. I didn't say anywhere that because something is popular, therefore it's right or wrong.
What kind of a nutcake believes this stuff? Thought is present
Nutcakes?
everywhere. Thought is present everywhere at a fundamental level. I don't think so. A view that had some historical advocates,
Rock.
but no present
Wait.
day.
Wait. You can refute that. Is that rock right here? Is the rock right in front of me? Is it thinking? Is there
No.
thought present with that rock? I don't think so.
No, there definitely isn't.
Unless
people-
you're saying that it
I
took
don't
thought.
mind-
Unless you're
mind
arguing.
no
Wait,
present
real
day
quick.
appearance.
Unless you're arguing that it took thought to make the rock,
There's a
and
rock.
therefore vis-a-vis the rock is evidence of something with thought causing the rock to be there, then that's interesting. But either way,
I don't
Here's
think people
rocks
understand
having
that
sex.
in order to have conscious experience, you have to first have some sort of sensory perception. There has to be something there that is perceived. Those perceptions need to be processed. They need to be processed in a higher order way that leads to consciousness. So that's why we find only certain life forms have consciousness. And then there are some other life forms that have some level of perception of their surroundings. But yeah,
hey Leo,
so rocks
Leo.
can't be conscious. They don't
Leo,
have
Leo.
sensory perception capabilities.
to quote a famous comedy show, I don't believe you.
That's not an argumentum ad populum, Sal. I didn't say that because something is popular that therefore he was wrong, and I didn't even say he was wrong. So it's not.
Boy.
It's not an argumentum ad populum. You're just
I was
applying
just thinking-
fallacies where they don't apply.
Oh,
I said
boy.
what he wrote wasn't well received, and it wasn't. But you did make an argumentum ad verecundium, an argument from authority, by citing a physicist on something that's not related to physics.
Keister. What the fuck? Okay.
What can an
Cocaine
atheist?
keister.
What can an atheist write something about them?
And by the way, Eugene Wigner's view of consciousness collapse, we know that's not true, and it's not similar to the Copenhagen interpretation. In fact, he worked with von Neumann and made his own interpretation, and it's called the von Neumann-Wigner interpretation. You would be very hard-pressed to find a professional theoretical physicist that holds to that, because anybody who understands the math of state vector reduction, i.e. wave function collapse, knows consciousness has nothing to do with it.
Would you be
Leo-
comfortable with a quantum physicist doing brain surgery?
I would.
No.
Let
I
me see the
wouldn't.
quantum. Let me see the quantum realm, doctor. Oops, that's the pain center. quantum reality, these things can shift. That's not shifting.
It's like you're doing some work on it, and you're just like, oh shit, the entanglement just fucked up. Oh damn, where did it go? Where's it at? So guys, we lost the left hemisphere. I don't know where it went.
They're sitting there with a spatula. So if you see right now, folks, the brain feels no pain. Splash, 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 splash. Just dicing in that shit. Yeah, we just separate these sections out, and we can just.
Physicists know better than psychologists. Not in psychology. That's like arguing that biologists know better than economists.
All these different varieties.
Well,
it's funny.
It's most likely that that one area of economics is probably the one area where anybody is likely to know more than an economist.
No.
Because, well, economy, well, we're talking hard sciences here, aren't we?
Somebody get Serb. Serb's an economist. Somebody go get Serb.
My aunt is also a PhD economist and associate professor of economics at Iowa State University. So
holy, what the fuck just happened? Okay, I double clicked. Sorry, I double clicked. I'm sorry.
What are we reading? Oh, we're still reading on all this magic-y woo.
Yeah, but look, I just learned a new word today. Ontopoetics. I know autopoietic.
I gotta leave again, guys. Sorry, I'm at work. I'll be
all right.
Okay.
Where the fuck does this guy work at? That's what I want to know.
I'm not entirely sure.
Who, me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere that not important.
Not important.
Poor guy, he doesn't feel important. All this stuff on this Wikipedia page has to do with a field of philosophy called process philosophy.
Yeah, where's that at?
Process theology. It was up under terminology.
Yeah, I know.
I recognize here because a professor of philosophy in Alabama somewhere that I know really gets into John Cobb and Alfred North Whitehead, who I think are kind of at the root of this particular movement. Yep. So I've not known a lot of people that adhere to it. And even with these words, pan-experientialism and all that, not a lot of modern current day people go for it as well. So
I just don't even look into this stuff.
I'm just saying that's kind of where it sits in the
stupid.
Thought.
So pan-experientialism has a narrow meaning, have been coined by specifically referring to a form of panpsychism. Let's go there. Process philosophy. Also ontology. Let's see, becoming, processism. Okay, so what the fuck is it telling us about our daily lives here? Identifies metaphysical reality with change. Well, I don't have a problem with that. Stuff and stuff not, sort of in block time, would be pretty much how things work. In opposition to classical model of change as illusory. I don't know what that means. Who the hell would believe that?
This is a philosophical school. I don't know how well received it is, but basically for theologians who adopt that kind of process philosophy, they allow for God to change and to grow. And that is pretty much heresy for a lot of your more orthodox, conservative type theologians.
Right.
But it was popular, even at Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary when I was there. A few of the philosophy of religion professors were kind of adopting bits and pieces of it. But I don't know how well received it is these days.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, Socrates is still the same. The change, his sickness only glides over his substance, which is, the change is accidental, whereas the substance is essential, therefore, but there is no substance, right? Wouldn't this thing say that there is no substance? It's only change. It's only the difference that makes a difference.
I don't know. I'm not really paying attention because it's probably bullshit to begin with. Well,
the thing about bullshit is that you have to understand it in order to scrape it off. That's a problem. That's a problem I have with most philosophy,
Well, and it
Yeah.
helps you understand people who do adopt this kind of system of thought. It lets you know where they're coming from.
Yeah, you have to get down to the root of what they actually believe is the case, and it's like, what is
So
the
Sal
case?
is saying that math has nothing to do with any particular interpretation of quantum mechanics, which is false.
What?
The math in numerous different, that's the wrong one. The math in numerous different interpretations is different. The math of the Everettian model is not the same as the math in Copenhagen interpretation, which is not the same as the math in pilot wave theory. So the
then he
mathematical
goes on to
structures
say,
are different. I would recommend you read Sean Carroll's book, Something Deeply Hidden.
I don't know if I own that one. Something Deeply Hidden.
And the funny thing is, I've actually talked with theoretical physicists. That first sentence there is actually not true. They are empirically indistinguishable. That's why certain physicists hold to certain models over others.
Does Something Deeply Hidden have anything to do with the last topic about cocaine up the butt?
Nope.
Okay, good. Just checking. So this fucking thing with the quantum interpretation, why don't you and Sel have a conversation about that?
I don't think it would really be worth my time.
I think Sel might. I don't know. Sel, do you want to have a talk with?
Is he a theoretical physicist?
No. Well, he knows a bit about quantum mechanics, I think. Don't you, Sel? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought Sal was a mathematician.
I think he's like an applied physicist, which is not theoretical physics.
Yeah, well, that's it would be good to hash out this bullshit with I mean, I've read about it a few times. At first, I thought which interpretation says that basically you have to have a conscious mind in order to have
von Neumann-Wigner interpretation.
So what the fuck were they talking about? Where did they get that idea?
Who the fuck knows? Because the people back when quantum mechanics was first being developed didn't understand its ontology.
Yeah, so they kind of just made something up for the press, basically.
Why does he always go to Sean Carroll stating that he's not a theologian when theology has absolutely nothing to do with quantum mechanics?
Well, with Kafai's world is all theology, so he starts...
Well, then his worldview is wrong, because not everything is theology. And we're not talking about pan-experientialism, so again, I don't understand what the fuck he's saying.
You want to answer that question for him?
It depends on how you define student. At an institution, no.
Yes, you are a student.
No, I'm not. I don't go anywhere.
Not that kind of student. Okay, I'm a student. I don't go anywhere either.
I don't consider that a student. I'd consider that an autodidact, not a student.
What?
Autodidact. I say autodidact for the same reason I say kilometer instead of kilometer.
That sounds like a dinosaur.
Not that autodidact is wrong. It's just I'm very, very pedantic and precise about how I use my language.
Sounds like a dinosaur.
Kind of does.
Yeah.
Sounds like a transformer.
Yeah, there you go. Transformer. Can I play my Louis clip?
And I thought you already did.
Well, your Louis clip. Hopefully you won't get banned because
I know I might get banned for it. Well, I can just edit it out because it's going to be at the end because we got to end anyway. I just think it sounds like okay. Let me put it up here. This is Praise when he was a little girl, and Praise's daddy, who was a scientist. So this isn't really Louis C.K. I don't know if. Where are we here? What? Come on. Give me a fucking break, StreamYard. Why can you not find the Chrome tab? When I have the Chrome...
You old decrepit fuck.
Hey. You fucking ageist bastard.
I somehow subscribed to a monthly subscription to StreamYard today somehow. And I still haven't figured out how that happened. I was
fucking Wish is here.
Who?
Fucking Wish.
Walking Swish? No.
No. Okay.
Pedofish or Trash Fish.
Everybody's favorite trash clown.
Trash clown. Walking Fish is
I
a trash
clown. I want to know when
clown.
I'm going to be upgraded to the level of Raging Rat Roach retard since I have Asperger's.
I like that name. Okay, I'm going to play this and see if I get banned. Oh, Jay is back.
I shouldn't say I have Asperger's. I should start saying I am Homo autistus.
Hi.
Because the sun comes up later.
Why?
Well, the Earth goes around, and when it turns a certain amount, the sun shows on the horizon.
Why?
I don't know.
Why? Why don't you know, Papa?
Because I didn't pay attention in school, okay? I didn't listen in class.
Why?
Because I was high all the time. I smoked too much pot.
Why?
I didn't think it would matter.
Why?
I just figured my life would come together on its own. But then I met your mom, and you came along. So now I work at the muffler shop.
Why?
Well, it's too late for me to pursue a career now, and since your mom has a job with benefits, I stay home and I take care of you, because what I make is pretty much just a joke.
Why?
Well, the service economy replaced manufacturing. There's no real jobs in America anymore.
Why?
We had good jobs for a while, but it's just because we were lucky, and now we're unlucky.
Why?
It's just the way it goes.
Why?
Because God is dead and we're alone.
Okay.
Okay.
That was worth it, right?
That was funny.
That was funny.
Yep, I've been in those conversations, but I don't normally go into drug abuse or. However,
Or
I did,
it was
use
on
that,
Nick
I did use
or-
that with my nephew. He goes, "Well, why don't you know more?" And I went, "Well, sometimes I get distracted." He goes, "Well, distracted by what?" And I said, "Oh, these little things right here that I'm holding in my hand, referring to cigarettes, and this, and holding up a can of beer."
Mm-hmm. That's a good lesson for him.
Yep.
Anyway, pretty cool. Okay, guys. Anyway, Jay, did you want to? Where were we when you left? We were talking about pan experientialism and all this bullshit.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah, you guys were into that.
Shit.
Yeah, I did. We don't have to stick with that.
Yeah, I got 1 hour to take a break, and then I'm going to talk to Kafai, and I'm going to try and crack him open and see what the hell he really believes. That's really
Tough
what I
egg,
want.
tough egg to crack. I can tell you that.
That he won't crack.
Oh my God! You
tough
mentioned
egg to crack.
egg, and it just reminded me. I rewatched R and Ra's debate with Mr. Intelligent Design, and he said he ran an experiment on intelligent design using an egg and tissue papers.
You guys never heard of that?
No.
Oh, you guys got to look up.
the
You guys
experiment
are-
I just mentioned?
Mr. ID's egg and
Yeah, it's
Paper
fucking
towel?
just hilarious.
yeah, it's I knew about that 2 years
And
ago.
Aaron was just like, wait, so how does dropping an egg on some tissue paper show intelligent design? He would just repeat what his experiment was, and Aaron's just like, no, dude, I'm not asking you to tell me again what the experiment was. I get that. You dropped some eggs on some tissue paper. Cool. How does that show intelligent design?
Not sure which
Yeah, he
one.
was showing the why, but not the how. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
This is
fun.
my answer to why this is the case, but not how it's actually the case.
Fucking
And it's only his best why.
Why did that not work? Funny YouTube didn't block that comment. YouTube keeps blocking me on my own channel when I try to make comments. I don't know why. Like constantly.
fucking YouTube.
I was trying to say something to Spooky Bed Hair yesterday and it wouldn't let me. It's just like
I'm t-
him blocking me.
And I'm telling you guys, that is now my new justification for why I believe gods do not exist.
Spooky Betty?
Spooky Bed Hair hasn't found it yet.
Huh?
Spooky is like, anytime I've ever like asked about like some kind of obscure link to something or anything, he will find the fucking link or links.
Really?
Spooky
cool.
will find. Benghazi's pretty good too, but Spooky, he was my very first subscriber when I first started here, and I think he was my first subscriber when my channel got deleted and I came back. Oh wait, so he was my first subscriber when I first started on my channel. Then I started another channel. I think he was my first subscriber on that channel, and then my original channel got deleted, and then it got brought back, and then he was the first subscriber on that one again. And anytime I've ever need like some link or anything like that, boom, he finds it. And that's why I will joke and say, yeah, my justification for believing gods do not exist is Spooky hasn't found it.
Is Spooky a theist or an atheist?
Spooky, I don't know if he's an atheist per se. I think I'll say that he's probably he's a non-believer.
Non-theist?
He's a non-theist.
Well, at least you understand the difference between non-theist and atheist, because they're not the same thing.
A non-theist and an atheist. In what way?
No. I said at least you understand that they're not the same thing. Because a lot of people will try to redefine atheism as essentially non-theism and say, oh, well, agnostics are atheists. No, they're not.
Oh, yeah, an agnostic can be a non-theist. Yeah, no problem.
Guys,
No.
I gotta go. I have something I gotta be at here in about an hour. So it was great chatting with y'all.
PC.
Okay, later. I have something that I have to be at in about an hour, but I can't remember.
Or
Don't you have your conversation with Cafe in an hour?
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I forgot all about it.
is that going to be live? Because if not, you need to make it live.
It's going to be live.
Sweet.
I don't think I'm going to let you add them.
No, I don't want to come in because it'll just devolve, and that doesn't need to happen.
Yeah.
He can show up tomorrow in Rage's channel. You know, Rage loves when people rage on his channel, The Rage.
Well, there's something that happens to me. It happened to me with Praise That I Am. It happened to me with Nicholas. It happened to me with SFB mod Joel. After about 15 minutes, I realized that beating a dead horse doesn't work. I hope this doesn't happen with Cafe.
You know, you mentioned that. If I ever had some sort of sports team, I would make the mascot a dead horse.
Dead
you know
horse.
why? You know why?
You beat him.
Let me just ask you a question. What can't be beat? A dead horse.
I don't know about that. You can beat a dead horse, but
and that would be our motto. What can't be beat?
A dead horse.
Well, you can't beat the horse. You can't beat the horse in a race.
In a what?
In a race.
Oh, in a race. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, well, can you beat a dead horse? I don't know. That is an interesting philosophical question for another stream.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, that conversation between Burning Tear Spell and Cafe from a while back, that was literally like beating a dead horse.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of why Altangelo doesn't talk to us, because but except that he's the dead horse, and we're the ones that have beat it till it was dead, and then tried to keep beating it, and it just kind of somehow disappeared.
Just beat it, ooh, beat it, ooh.
How do you say?
Beat
it. Show me.
Oh, wait a minute. Who the hell? That guitarist that just died. Who just died?
Eddie Van Halen. Yes, he did a little bit of work on that song.
He actually did.
Was just like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah, and then there was a funny story about him in a record store or something where some people were saying, "Oh, listen to that! Somebody's trying to channel Van Halen," and he said, "Yeah, that was me."
Can you put Meny Karen's last comment up on the screen?
His last
the one under just a walking fish just slaps me. There you go. You're just now figuring this out. You're just now figuring this out, Meny. Why do you think I gave up on Cafe so soon?
Because he hasn't shown what's really funky and shown what's just.
Wait, I'm not keeping up with chat. So who found him? Walker, aren't you supposed to be taking a fucking test?
He's listening to this while he takes the test because he's hardcore.
He's hardcore.
That's why you live hardcore.
Okay, guys. Oh, shit. I don't know. We've done as much damage as we're going to do. I keep wanting to explain methodological naturalism, but I never get around to it. I always get distracted.
I always tell people it's the scientific method because that's what it is.
Well, they don't seem to get it, so I'm trying to explain it to them.
Yeah, well, they don't understand the scientific method.
I think the thing I came up with about an hour ago, the very best thing is that methodological naturalism is what your doctor uses when he looks at your x-ray and tries to figure out what's wrong with you.
Well,
right?
they also use a little bit of abductive reasoning and inductive reasoning as well.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, that science is almost purely inductive.
But I mean, ultimately, they're looking for a natural reason for you to be sick so they can do something about it.
Well, yeah, but sometimes when they make their basic prognosis on the situation, that can sometimes be from abductive and inductive reasoning.
Yeah. Well, veterinarians use they use supernatural methods when they try to find out what's wrong with your animal. They I don't know if you've brought an animal to a vet recently, but basically you pay them $1,000 and they say, yeah, dog's sick. Take him home and maybe we'll have to put him down. He might get better, but we don't know. But I think he has that thing that dogs get when they get old, and that's
that's actually a really good story. It brings me to a quick one. I went to a vet with my dog, to my beagle.
Look at the differences in my pinkies. From this one to this one. You can.
Did you notice that Leo often says irrelevant things?
Yeah, especially right in the middle when I was going to say something.
Being homo autistus.
Right in the middle of somebody saying, okay, start again, Jay.
There's a reason why we put them in homes when they get older, because Jesus. Sorry, that was a bad joke.
Okay.
But no, all I was going to say is
we don't go into homes when we're older. We go into homes when we're younger.
We don't necessarily.
Oh, no. I used to vacation. My family and I used to vacation up in a place up in northern Michigan, and the friend of the family, she ran a foster care home for adults with mental impairments.
Kat must think that I only cited one paper and I cited like 6.
Where did Kat post the conclusion? Many?
I don't know. You'd have to scroll up to try to find it.
Okay, Jay, you were telling us something. You want to try?
Yeah, never mind. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. It's just
Leo's just going to hold up his pinkies again and go, look at how different my pinkies are.
Leo,
you can't see that difference there?
Leo,
I'm not looking at the screen. I'm on my phone, and my phone is in my back pocket. I'm on my earbuds.
Pull your fucking phone out of your back pocket.
No, Leo. I don't dare, because if I turn it on and the video starts playing while StreamYard's going, the phone's going to burn up even more.
Leo, there's only a couple reasons why I give a fuck about your fingers, and we don't have that kind of relationship.
No, but me and Neffy do.
You guys fingered one another?
No, I need to get
compared fingers.
It was a thing that happened. Mr. Parker's got the clip. I think it was in your brother's stream, and I went to go say I'm going to be debating Nephilim and actually dating Neph. So now it's a joke that I'm dating Neph. Amelia Clark is happy about that.
Oh, she's going to be jealous, man.
Yeah, that I'm dating Nephilim. She's not happy.
Okay, guys, we got to end this. So I'm gonna go off live here. Anyway, I am saving the chat so we can review the chat at some point. There's a lot of shit in there. So ending the broadcast. Ending.
Stan Amelia Clark.